Castle of Castle Does, and I have July 23rd, Subnautica. Alright, so, let's get right into the business. One of the main things that's going on at this point, I've gotten a lot more used to working with the tool, so I'm feeling a lot better. I'm making progress very quickly at this point, and I start working a little bit more with the terrain, the height map terrain versus just the voxel terrain. So I still end up doing an awful lot with the voxels, but as I go, it's seemingly like I depend more and more on the height map terrain just because it's faster, and the voxels are sort of secondary. That ends up being more true the longer I'm going on the project so far. But getting them to work together is the real key. Because you see that extra granularity? That extra granularity you get with the height map terrain versus the boxy voxels. So a lot of this stuff, a lot of the texture painting and stuff like that, it took me a little while before I started to mention it to the rest of the team, but as I've been working, I kind of came to this realization that a lot of the stuff I'm doing can be automated, you know? So I drag out a giant box like this right here. Okay, that right there, that is ZBrush for level designers. I just big block and then just carve that sucker out. Ultimately, I'm too fast when it comes to just building the raw geometry. That right there was me watching a tutorial, because the rest of the team actually puts up, Steve will actually put up tutorials for the level designers and everybody else actually, so that we can just watch a video and get an idea of how to use certain tools and certain tech. Anyway, see right here? Actually, I'm getting interrupted too much. This is the actual squares. So this is the Minecraft version. I'm actually able to work in the version of the editor where it looks just like the Minecraft style blocks. And then we end up smoothing them out. Bam! We apply that post-smoothing process, and it smooths things right out. So anyway, with the texturing, it took me a really long time before I started to mention the prospect of the textures actually having like special materials that like the top of it is sand and the bottom of it is rock, and it does it automatically. Stuff like that actually would save a hell of a lot of time. Okay, so watch this tower right here. Okay, big tower, and then I'm gonna put a little tiny tower on top. Pow! I'm hoping I'm hoping that people. Oh, I put an even tinier tower. I forgot I did that. There's an even tinier tower on top of the tiny tower with a big tower, right? Okay, so one of the things that ends up changing a lot about this area that I'm working on right now is that I'm working a little too quickly. I'm putting too much in, and going over it and asking for feedback and everything like that. One of the main things that keeps coming up is that it's a little too busy. I'm doing too much. It's really easy for me to overdo it, I'm finding. Which, I mean, is not necessarily a bad thing. It just, I gotta like make sure I pull it back a little bit. So like that big tower, there was a whole bunch of extra geometry, and like a couple of days later I ended up having to like decide, okay, I'm just gonna pull this back, make it more match the rest of the game and not go totally balls to the wall on every area. It tends to be pretty easy, but you know, you see me painting right here, and a lot of it's just painting the materials, right? So if the materials were automated a little bit more, it would save a heck of a lot of time. And it's something I know for a fact, like other voxel design tools have that kind of support. In fact, there was this one time I was messing around with this thing called Game Glow, right? And it allowed you to put out a giant sphere and just like dig right in the side of a mountain. And I'm pretty sure it was using voxels, right? Those voxels had a material. I made an anarchy symbol by accident, totally. But the materials would automatically work with whatever geometry I just created in game. So like I'd dig out a cave into the side of a mountain, and it'd automatically be sand. So you see right here, I'm actually simplifying the entire area now because I had gone too far. So now this is me actually taking stuff out, smoothing things out, getting rid of all of the stuff that I went over top, and spending a little bit more time detailing out the few things that survived the culling. And that was pretty much that. Like, the process of design is iterative, obviously, but you don't get attached to things. Don't build something and say, "Oh, hey, you know, I don't want to change it." Whenever I build something, I show it to everybody else, and I say, "Okay, is this what we want?" And if they say, "Oh, it's a little too much," pull it back, or you need to have more of this. You need to take the, you know, you have to work with what everybody else says as well. Well, anyway, thank you. That was July 23rd, and see you again.